In the case of that digital cloud shutting down, or if you don't have access to that digital cloud, how are you going to have access to your files if there's not on a physical external hard drive? You're going to be effed. You're going to be super, super effed, especially those files are so, so important, especially media these days. Growing up with having kids and having a big family, like we store a lot of our photos and videos on our phones, right? And we're not realizing that that's only one option to where your files are being accessed to. And if you don't have them on an external hard drive, if something happens with the cloud, you have no access to your files at all whatsoever. All right, guys, I want you to stop right there. Stop what you're doing. You're doing it all wrong. Today, I'm gonna teach you guys about the difference between physical memory and digital memory. All right, guys, if you've ever seen a proposal from me, you know that I put in the services memory storage. And memory storage is absolutely very, very, very important, right? And the reason why I say that memory storage is so important, because the field that we live in, the field that we do, and what we create is media. Media takes up a lot of storage, and you guys have to know how to facilitate it, organize it, manage it, where to keep it. Did you guys know that most media is stored in the cloud or somewhere digitally? Do you guys know the difference between digital and external storage? Well, today I'm going to teach you guys the difference, what to do, what not to do, and to make sure you protect your files at all costs, because that's the important thing with dealing with a lot of media and dealing with a lot of content as well, especially if you're doing social media or for branding. You want to make sure that your content and your media is stored safely, secured, and that nobody else has access to it. All right, guys, I know you're familiar with iCloud storage, Google Drive, and Dropbox. Those are the top 3 things that people use to store their digital memory somewhere, whether it's like way up in the cloud or, again, we're going to talk about Google Drive and being able to have access to Google Drive and that your files are stored there. And some people do use Dropbox. I prefer to use Google Drive over Dropbox. I have at least 10 terabytes ready for Google Drive storage. But in the midst of that, what happens if iCloud goes down, or what happens if Google Drive goes down, or you suddenly don't have access to it in Dropbox? Some of those links can be wiped out from media creators and content creators. And
Matt, I need your help growing my social media audience.
all right, guys, if you need help growing your social media audience, make sure you text 602-390-7002. Once again, it's 602-390-7002. And some of those can be wiped out due to social media management, that you might not have access to those links no more, or within that folder that it might got deleted, because that stuff takes up storage. Anytime you're purchasing anything, or anytime you're increasing your storage for iCloud, increasing storage for Google Drive, and increasing storage for Dropbox, that costs money to the person that owns it. So that's why we charge for memory storage as a content creator to your client, because that does cost money, and that does cost money to maintain. As a business owner, as soon as you get access to those files, whether it's iCloud, Dropbox, or Google Drive, you should be downloading all that memory and all those files to your own storage as well. Don't depend on the content creator to be able to save all of the files for you, or to be able to organize all the files for you, unless that's in your contract proposal. Make sure you are safeguarding your files as well, to make sure you have backups to them just in case anything happens. It's always, always, always important to store your digital media in 2 different places, and I always make sure it's stored in iCloud or any type of digital memory storage where we got Google Drive or Dropbox, and I make sure I put it on a physical drive as well. My process from filming to editing is that memory card or that hard drive or whatever. I make sure I take those files specifically off of that memory card. I put it electronically on Google Drive, and then I make sure I have copies of it on a physical hard drive as well. So again, that digital storage is iCloud, Google Drive, and Dropbox. And today I'm going to show you guys 3 different types of physical external hard drives that I use throughout my business. All right, guys, so we have the T5 Samsung portable SSD. These usually come in like a 1 gigabyte, 2 gigabyte. I haven't bought anything bigger than this. But this is a 1 terabyte, super duper important, guys. If you own a business and you are creating digital content, make sure you are storing your files on this external hard drive, USB-C that you can plug in and click and drag from the memory card or from whoever you got the files from to this to physically store it. And guys, I'm not getting paid for this at all, but these are just the pieces that I've been using throughout my journey as a content creator. Lacy, very good. This is a 2 terabyte or 5 terabyte Lacy. The one thing I love about this is rubber. As a content creator, we're constantly on the move, on the go. Dropping this dropping this is just as dangerous because you can lose your files dropping this as well. And you want to make sure, guys, you're properly ejecting this external hard drive from your computer or from your laptop to make sure your files are perfectly stored. And guys, I have an 18 terabyte Easy Store. I actually have a 10 terabyte Seagate that I store all like family stuff on there and whatnot. And I also created a reel a couple of months ago about the breakdown of buying that hard drive from Sam's Club and the price breakdown and how much gigabytes it came with. But this is an 18 terabyte. I use this as a backup. So this right now is currently empty. And then just in case I have any corrupted files or anything like that, I can transfer all my data that I have to that backup as a third place to store all my data files. It's super important to make sure that you are storing all your data files safely in 2 locations every single time.
Matt, I need your help growing my social media audience.
All right, guys, if you need help growing your social media audience, make sure you text 602-390-7002. Once again, it's 602-390-7002. So again, my process from filming to editing is I go to upload from the memory card to 2 different spots. My pane of choice is Google Drive, and then I also, out of those 3 hard drives that I showed you, I make sure I place it into one of those 3 things. Again, it's super important because you don't want to depend too much on your content creator to save your files or have your files saved. I had an instance where I had this wedding shot with a client, and I also let them have the open link for all their files from their wedding and stuff like that, from their photos, from their videos, raw footage and everything. And I sent it to them and I told them to make sure that they download this footage. And then 2 years or 3 years later, I had the bride randomly inbox me and ask me if I still had access to those files. To me, it just doesn't make any sense. As a person that has purchased digital media content from a person to not have those files stored anywhere. Usually with my weddings, the client will get like a USB flash drive or a hard drive with all their files on there. But in that instance, that client did not receive that. So I'm not taking the blame or putting the blame on that client as well, but I also sent them a reminder to make sure that they save their files because their files are super important. Again, don't, as a owner to a business or a person that has bought files from somebody, do not depend on a content creator to save those files or have those files stored for you, because again, that does cost to have us maintain that memory storage. It costs every single month, especially if you're using Dropbox or Google Drive or iCloud storage. You know, you get those little messages to your phone about having your iCloud storage. Again, that iCloud storage is, you don't have anything physically saved on a phone, so everything is getting saved to a digital cloud somewhere. And in the case of that digital cloud shutting down, or if you don't have access to that digital cloud, how are you going to have access to your files if there's not on a physical external hard drive? You're going to be effed. You're going to be super effed, especially those files are so important, especially media these days. Growing up with having kids and having a big family, like we store a lot of our photos and videos on our phones, right? And we're not realizing that that's only one option to where your files are being accessed to. And if you don't have them on an external hard drive and something happens with the cloud, you have no access to your files at all whatsoever. I actually had a coworker, he did something with his Apple product. All his Apple products were shut down and he couldn't get access to his cloud. Because his photos and his videos were not saved on an external hard drive, and Apple was being dickheads about having his account back, he was unable to receive any of those photos and videos because they were stored in a cloud where he did not have access to. So it's super, 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 super duper important. 2022 or 2023, I started giving out flash drives and hard drives to clients that had projects with me. And I also included that within the proposal and the package deal, so that way they can give a physical hard drive of where all their files are supposed to go. It's super, super duper important. Make sure you guys are protecting your files, and make sure you're doing it the correct way, and make sure you are make sure you download those files as soon as that content creator or that person sends it to you. That's super, super duper important. Never let that go. Download those files as soon as you possibly can. Again, guys, stop doing what you're currently doing. And from here on out, you're going to do a totally different process with saving and protecting those precious files that you paid for. Again, guys, this is Matthew Cone from conesgraphix. And today we taught you about memory storage, media files, how to organize them, and how to save them. If you have any questions, make sure you text content to 602-390-7002. And make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe. Peace.